Hello, and welcome to Filmsquatch, the podcast where two guys from the Deep South watch and review movies about Bigfoot. It's that simple. Each episode takes a look at a single film about a Sasquatch or a Yeti, and the guys break it down for you. Patrick and Kendall are true believers, but they're too old, too fat, and too lazy to get up off their sofas and go hunt for a Sasquatch themselves. So they just sit back and watch movies about them. Now, let's head over to the Filmsquatch screening room, where Patrick and Kendall are ready to discuss their latest film.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of Filmsquatch. Today we have a special guest, a college student who made a cryptid movie for her thesis.
We have the writer and director of Cryptid Crisis with us. That is Miss Tsvetalina Pourciau. Tsvetalina, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing great. Now, Patrick, you've already met Tsvetalina. This is my first time, but you've already met her. And could you maybe break down how you two first met, and then we'll go into Cryptid Crisis?
Well, I was one of the workers at the Boomtown Film Festival this year, and she had her film Cryptid Crisis playing there, and I was the one projecting it. And then afterwards, I brought her up on stage to talk about her film. So that's how I met her. And I made sure I even told you about her and said, we need to get her film, two things. One, into our Filmsquatch contest, and the other, the Lake Charles Film Festival. And then before I could even email her, she emailed me. So I was happy. So yeah, we got her on both. So, and then I asked her about the podcast to come on. So.
All right. Well, Tsvetalina, why don't you give us a rundown of your short Cryptid Crisis? Tell us what it's about, and then we'll go into details as far as how you came up with the story and all that. So if you don't mind, give us a little rundown, please.
Yeah, no problem. So spoiler alert for the Bigfoot fans, Bigfoot is not the main character in this film. But yeah, to go into the synopsis of the film. So Cryptid Crisis stars Zoe and Dale, who are two cryptozoologists and hosts of a declining live streaming web show, who are on the hunt for Mothman in the woods of West Virginia. However, other cryptids attempt to steal their spotlight and sabotage their show. So that's like the general rundown. How I came up with this idea is, so this film was my senior thesis film. I'm currently doing my film festival rotation, but it is a film that has been, I would say, like at least like 3-4 years in the making at this point. I originally wrote it, or I wrote a initial version in my introduction to screenwriting class. And in that class, we had like different prompts. And like I would always write like 10 ideas like per prompt, and like pick which one that like resonated with me the most. So and my prompt for this film was something along the lines of like cryptozoologists hunt for specific hunt for Mothman, Bigfoot gets in the way. And so I created like a short little like 5-page short that took place in like one location. And we had like group like critiques in which we read out the scripts. And from there, that was like one of my most well-received scripts in the class. And from that moment forward, I just like knew that this had the potential, and this was like my goal for it to become my senior thesis project. And from then I just kind of started focusing on expanding the story and like honing on like core themes that I really wanted to explore with the story.
Yeah, you said that Bigfoot wasn't the main thing in the film, but he definitely tries to steal the show.
Yep.
And I thought Bigfoot was hilarious. He's played by Brendan O'Reilly, correct?
Yes, I believe his the actor's stage name is Tulio O'Reilly. Or no.
Tulio? Okay.
Yes, Tulio O'Reilly, yes.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely tries to steal the show. He reminded me with his, and I gotta say, all of the creatures in this short have very unique looks to them. Hardcore cryptozoologists probably won't like the looks, but but I think they're hilarious. And whenever Bigfoot pops up on the screen, the first thing I could think of was Lou Ferrigno as the Incredible Hulk from the
Oh,
old
yeah.
television series with the ripped jeans and the ugly stuff and everything like that. How'd you come up with the creature designs for this? I'm not going to name all of the cryptids. If you want to, you can. I'm not going to name them. I don't want to spoil anything. So, yeah, how did you come up with some of the designs for these creatures?
So to fully explain like my process with that, I will spoil some things.
Okay.
Um,
Go
so
ahead.
so one of the main things that I really wanted to portray in my film was how like social media and becoming an influencer can change you, right? And so with that idea, with in making the costume design and the character design, I had this idea of like making the cryptids who were more like involved with the social media, like on the influencer side. And then when I have Chupacabra, I have more like a vaccines like manipulation type of archetype. I wanted them to be appear more human because like their interaction with the internet and with being in the social media space has like make them lose a part of themselves, and therefore they're like losing their like more animalistic quality. So that's why they're more on like the human hybrid side
Okay.
versus with Mothman's design. I kind of wanted to do something like more like full on creature like, to like emphasize like how like he has been untouched by the internet and by this whole like social media thing that just like gets you wrapped up and like makes you lose a sense of yourself. And so like, with Mothman's character, the beauty in him is that like he never loses his sense of self, which is like, one of the things that really helps like with Zoe's like revelation toward the end of the film.
Let me ask you something. Now, Zoe, the actress, is that your mom, your real life mom?
Yes, that was my real life mother, yes.
Awesome. Is she an actual actress, or is this her first
Yep, she
time?
is. Yeah,
She is.
the actress for Zoe, Yulita Pourciau, she has been acting for over probably as long as I've been alive, so like 22 years at this point. Um, and she's had like some co-starring role, yeah, co-starring, I believe is the correct terminology, on shows such as like Treme and The Leftovers and Zoo. So like she is an actress. She's a very good actress, I will say.
Yeah.
And so like I was just very lucky to have like a very well like resource pool to pull from.
She did a great job in this. Have you worked with her before on projects?
I have,
Yeah.
yes.
Cool. How's that relationship, working with your mom on films? Is that bonded y'all, made y'all stronger, relationship wise, or do you hate it? Like, does she try to take over or something?
Well, there are pros to working with family on film projects. Like number one, it's like you have a real relationship with them. You don't necessarily have to worry about like impressing them, I guess, in some way. Like you need to like kind of keep it real, right? The like I feel like I have a really good like working relationship with my mother, so like that's something I'm really like proud and like very fortunate about. But like on the downside, just like like when you go to work and you talk about work and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna not talk about work. You can't do that. Because it's like, oh, you're going back to your family. You're going to continue to talk about work.
Now, I want to bring up Alfred Lamar, who played
Mhm.
Dale. And I thought he was hilarious. My favorite, and we discuss our favorite scenes. My favorite scene is just his scream, his ear piercing scream whenever the camera falls, and I busted out laughing. I laughed out loud at that scene. I thought he did a great job there. But yeah, I liked his portrayal of the character who's wanting all this attention, wanting to make a profit from all of this, and he was basically the polar opposite of Zoe. If I'm being right there, that's the way I saw those two characters. They're polar opposites, and I thought he did both of them did a great job. But I mean, I just love that scream.
No,
I thought he did a great job.
I must say, I really love working with Alfred. He's such a nice dude. And he like really brought his all, and he like brought like, I must say in the audition process, like I had him go through like 3 rounds of auditions, but like I kind of knew in my heart that he was Dale from like the moment I saw the first audition. Because my original idea for Dale was kind of like a more like socially awkward, but like kind of still wanting attention type of Dale. But Alfred really brought like the very charming Dale. And like from his portrayal, I just like knew that was right for the role, that was right for the film. And yeah, I was really happy with how everything turned out. Like he and my mom had great chemistry. Like they work really well together. Um, Sorry,
Mothman.
there's some weird noises happening.
It's Mothman.
Um, but yeah, no. Oh, and then for the scream scene, actually what happened was when I was originally writing the script, I think I originally had written that he does like a ear-piercing scream, but then at some point it got written out. And then on the day of he like comes up to me, we're like on our like second or third take, and he's like, I have a surprise. And I was like, okay, all right, I trust you, do what you're gonna do. And then he did that, and it was hilarious. And I was just like, you know what? I was hoping he would do that.
I want to make a comment. I absolutely love how you mix like the live podcast footage with the narrative footage. You know, about the stuff you shot as the narrative part. I thought it transitioned well back and forth like that, and I loved reading all the comments from viewers as you know on the live podcast. They went by quick; you couldn't catch them all, but the ones I saw were hilarious. Most of them. I really enjoyed that whole aspect of the film. Thought it was really cool.
Thank you for that. I can attribute that success to my editor, Reagan Ryman. You know, one of my best friends from SCAD. Also like a fantastic editor. While he was working on my film, he's also working on like I think 5 other thesis films. Really, he's a really talented individual. He wrote like I think all of the chat stuff. He's just like very proactive and like, you know, making the film like come together and alive with like the chat. And like he really understood my vision with like making sure the like camera POV shots matched with the cinematic shots. So I really cannot thank him enough for the success of this film.
Yeah, he did a great job, definitely.
Getting back to the creature effects, did you come up with the designs, or did you work with someone to develop the look of each individual cryptid? Because they had some very unique looks, and yeah, could you give us a little information on that?
Yes, of course. So, with the cryptid design, I had like a general like idea of like again like the idea of having Bigfoot, Chupacabra, and Jersey Devil be like half human, half animal hybrids came on like very early on. And so what I did is very early on into the process, I consulted one of my friends who's an illustration major to do concept art and with the purpose that the concept art would be given to the special effects makeup artist to like fully like fledge the design. So we started at the concept art level, and I was basically given just like full body things, and I would comment on like this isn't the correct texture that I want. Like for example, with like the first draft of Chupacabra's texture, it was more like furry, and I kind of like didn't want that because I'm like this is giving too much werewolf. Which is not Chupacabra. So let's kind of like scale back on the hair a little bit. And then for Bigfoot's design, he originally was very bare. Like, I think he just had like his sunglasses like and some bling, and we're like, he needs a little something more. And then at first we had sweatpants, and then like some as I was in a meeting with my my concept designer, Taylor Eby, very amazing illustrationist by the way. We were having a meeting, and then we were like, wait a minute, jorts. And then she drew the jorts on, and we were like, this is perfect. This encaptures everything we need in this character. It was the perfect choice. And then we went on a set, and everybody loved the jorts. Brennan himself loved the jorts. Everybody loved the jorts. It was great. Yeah, but then from the concept art, when we did finally onboard the SFX makeup artist, we gave that to her, and then she kind of gave me like her own mock-ups of like how she would do like the makeup and stuff. And then also like this goes for the costume department as well. But starting with the makeup, like we had the option of either doing latex or silicone makeup, and I think I decided to do silicone number one because it looked better on camera, and then number two, I think it just like the prosthetics like hold up a lot better if opposed to latex, because latex can be like a little bit flimsy a little bit.
Yep.
But other than that, I just kind of like let her like do her thing after she like gave me like her little mock-up mishmash thing. And then yeah, everything turned out great. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love the direction you went with the whole Bigfoot costume design and everything. I think it fits perfectly with the type of film you set out to make, as
thank
well as
you.
all the characters in it. I thought it
yeah,
looked
yeah.
great.
All the
It
characters looked
fit
awesome.
perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know I said, Bigfoot impressed me because I thought of Lou Ferrigno as a Hulk, but yeah,
Yeah.
Chupacabra, Jersey Devil, Mothman, all of them look great. I thought
My favorite
and the actors that did them
my
portrayed
favorite
them were awesome as
makeup
well.
was on Jersey Devil. I thought that one with the horns and everything. That was my favorite. I don't know about what was your favorite, Kendall?
I mean, I lean toward Bigfoot just because of the whole Hulk looking thing,
Yeah.
but yeah, Jersey Devil. As far as makeup, the look itself, yeah, the Jersey Devil definitely had an excellent look. But yeah, all of the cryptids were awesome. I guess really another question I want to ask is, will there be a sequel?
Will there be a sequel?
Yeah.
Um, hmm. I think for this question, how I would like to say is I feel like with the story as itself, it kind of like has come to an end.
Okay.
However, I do feel like if there is a sequel, it would be a prequel. But I also actually I have a whole idea to do a Chupacabra spinoff. Um, the actress for Chupacabra, Eva Dascos, so funny, so talented. I have a whole thing planned for her. But like, during the production of this film, I was really like thinking about like I like number one, if I were to like expand this into like a feature thing, I feel like this short film would be kind of toward the end of the film. So like if we were to explore like what happens before that, being like what was uh season season four of all Bigfoot. No, season three of all Bigfoot.
Let me ask you this. What's your favorite part of the whole filmmaking process? Do you like the writing, the directing, the editing? Just what is it that really gets you going in the film?
I personally like I'm a director at heart. I really love working with actors. I really love like working with them to like, help them like portray like their visions of the character while also like trying to get my vision of the character at the same time. Like I was very fortunate to do a lot of like rehearsals with the cast and they were such a great cast. Like they meshed really well together. Um I was like, that's definitely one of my favorite parts of filmmaking as a whole. And then like, my second favorite part is just like getting the whole thing together. Like this is a very ambitious project for like the senior thesis level. Because a lot of people, at SCA, they do like the very serious dramas and stuff. And I was like, I would want to make a fun film with cryptids in it.
There you go.
And it's gonna be crazy, but we're gonna do it. And then I did. So
Well, let me ask, how long did it take you to make the film? Like not writing in that, but actually going out, filming it, editing it. How long did it take, the process?
so you're saying like production to post-production,
Right.
how long is that process? So at my school, the standard like shooting time that you're allotted with the free equipment is like 3 days, which is one weekend. So basically the whole film was shot in one weekend. So 3 days. And then after that, the post-production process, I think we basically were in post from like the moment we wrapped till like I think picture lock was like May 25th of 2024. So that was approximately like 5 months of that like
Oh,
initial like picture lock post-production. And that was actually like yeah, so May 25th was like picture lock, sound lock. Um, I think I did a little bit more color adjustments a little later, but then past that, one of the main things that was like a little holding me back on the release of this film was finding a composer, which was really hard to do for this film because it's a very specific film, and I just wanted to make sure I found somebody who like could match like the vision that I wanted for this film. So finding the composer and then actually working with the composer did take a little bit of time. So technically, this film was completed in like I want to say like beginning of February this year. Um, yeah, so the long story short, probably took a year-ish overall from production to the end of post-production.
That's amazing that you actually got someone to do the music for you instead of using canned music, just from a app or something like I don't want to name any apps, but you know what I'm talking about. That was pretty amazing. So I know okay, in the 3 days you had to shoot it, was there anything that you really wanted to do that you were unable to because of time constraints?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say like because of time constraints, like going into the project, the scheduling like right before the project was shot was like really it was really stressful because like I had gone into this film with a very clear vision and I was like, okay, scenes 1 and 2 are going to be during the day, then scene 3 through 5 are going to be at night, and then at scene 6 is going to be during the day because it's like epilogue scene or whatever. Um, and so I was going in, and so we had the plan that this was all going to be shot entirely outside. And we had our location set up, which was the White Marsh Preserve in Savannah. And I was like speaking to my professor for the quarter that we were actually like in production, and she was like she's very adamant that like we move all of the night stuff to daytime because with how the location is set out, it's like kind of like a hiking trail-ish area. So like it's a nature preserve. So the actual like you go in through like a gate, and then there's like a whole like there's like a main walkway with like little like hiking paths kind of like spreading out from around that. And like that main walkway is like a slightly less than a mile. So it would take, so imagine you have like a red V Raptor and a bunch of C stands and a bunch of like other stands and like a Joker and like other like really large equipment that you gotta like cart out a mile, right? So it's like because like I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to actually like drive like our U-Haul van in there to like actually like properly distribute our equipment. Because of safety concerns, we were like, it might be best if we shoot the majority of this during the day. And so we like actually like pulled up the day of, and I had changed all the plans last minute. It was a really rough decision. And then we were like, I don't know if we can like drive this van in here. And then we get like a last minute call after we had tried to like shoot something for like 3 hours. I think we shot the last scene first, and it took us like 3 hours just to like bring all the equipment out there, and we're like really behind schedule. And then we called up like the permit agency because like they had been like ignoring our calls, and like they finally picked up and they're like, yeah, you can just drive in there. And we're like, oh, great. So then from that, I was able to put some of the night shoots back on. And so I was like, finally, I can get like most of what I originally wanted for this film because I really wanted like the night scenes to kind of like reflect like the contemplative nature of like, Zoe's character like transformation essentially.
Kendall, what else you have?
Well, you mentioned the White Marsh Preserve. Do you know of any Bigfoot or other cryptid sightings out there purported to be out there?
Mm. Not off the top of my head. The thing is, with Savannah, it's like known for being like a ghost town
Ghosts, yeah.
type of thing. So there's a lot of ghost stories. I can't for sure say that there's like a cryptid in the area. Actually, funnily enough, when I pulled up to the shoot on the first day, so Reagan, my editor, he bought shirts for both myself and the director of photography, and they were like cryptid-based shirts. And the one I got had like a bunch of cryptids on it, so it's just like Bigfoot, Chupacabra, the other cryptid. It's a big shirt with a bunch of little cryptids on it. So
Okay, yeah.
Let me ask you, in the film, what is your favorite scene?
oof, that's rough.
Maybe not the favorite scene that you shot, but as a viewer, what is
Mhm.
your favorite scene in the movie? You have one?
I think see this is rough. I do like a lot of the scenes and I do like them for different reasons. Um I'll say this. So I've kind of split the film in my mind into like there's the comedic section and then there's the dramatic section. Well, I mean, there's still comedy throughout, but it's like, tonally there's a comedic section and there's a dramatic section. So within the comedic section, I think actually the first scene is my favorite just because like I personally just really love how like Bigfoot comes out of nowhere and he's just like, hey, pay attention to me. And I really like going into it, I was like, the first scene really needs to work. Otherwise, the rest of the film is not going to work at all. And I feel like, all the actors were able to like, bring it to like make the world work. And especially like with the editing was done very well to make, the viewing experience work. Yeah, so that's my favorite scene for the comedic section. And then for the dramatic section, my favorite scene would be, the scene where Zoe confronts Mothman and they have their little like heart to heart moment. Like that's what the film is about. It completes the film. It's very like contemplative because like a lot of my past work is very like dramatic. But I really want to like shift into more like kind of dramedy type things. So like this is like my project where I was like, this is my start of that portfolio. So I'm really proud of like how everything turned out. So yeah, those are my two favorite scenes.
Kendall, you have a favorite scene?
Well, my favorite scene is the scream when the camera breaks. Because it made me laugh out loud. And I mean, as many Bigfoot and other movies that I've watched, very few of them make me laugh out loud. And so whenever one does, I mean, for me, that's a big deal. I've watched a ton of movies in my nearly 50 years on this earth, and very few of them make me laugh out loud. But that scene made me laugh out loud. So yeah, that's my favorite scene. How about you, Patrick?
I actually liked kind of the first segment where Bigfoot's in the background and just the things he's doing. He's like sniffing his underarms and he's posing, like practicing posing and stuff, just acting all goofy. That made me laugh. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, probably that one. So okay, let me ask. I know at the Boomtown Film Festival you won an award. What was that award?
Yes, so I won the first place in the student film
Okay.
the student film category.
All right. Has your film placed at any other festivals or anything?
Currently, the Boomtown Film Festival is the only festival that's been to.
Oh, really?
We are still waiting on acceptances from other film festivals. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say them, but we are still waiting on acceptances currently. So we have a very like we're just waiting right now.
Well, I can go ahead and tell you are accepted into the Lake Charles Film Festival
Yes.
and the Filmsquatch short film competition. So yeah, so there's two right there. um, I was going to ask you about your what's next for you. You have a film now that you're planning?
Well, well, right now I'm currently working on the promotion of Cryptid Crisis. Like I have an Instagram that I'm kind of working on. Like while I wrote a film about social media, I'm not very active on social media. Or at least like in the posting aspect. So I'm like taking upon myself to do the promotional Instagram of Cryptid Crisis and kind of like do a little bit of learning from there. But yes, my next film that I have planned in my like grand scheme of things is I actually wrote another script way back when in college. And it centers on a guy who his only mission in life was to die and become a ghost so he can haunt people. And so then he finally dies and becomes a ghost. And he is assigned to haunt a very like overly self-therapized schizophrenic patient. So he tries to scare this guy and he's like, you're a figment of my imagination. I need to call my therapist. But while there's this, there's the impending clock of like if he doesn't successfully like haunt this guy, he's gonna like go to purgatory and like not exist anymore. So I have a very fun script. Hopefully I can put in the works. I'm not sure if I want to like make that like a longer short film or like make a shorter thing and like pitch it as a feature, but I will see.
Will it take place in Savannah?
It doesn't have to take place in Savannah. It could, because to be fair, the Savannah does have very beautiful like Victorian houses.
Mhm.
It's a very like ghost thing going on. Yes, but shooting location TBD.
Okay, cool.
Well, Kendall, you have any other questions?
No, I don't have any questions, but this is Filmsquatch, and we do rate short films and feature length films. And whenever we have anyone that was part of a production on our on one of our episodes, we always ask them to rate their film and be brutally honest with us on it. For short films, we only do 1 to 5 Bigfoot tracks.
Mhm.
And so 1 being a terrible film and 5 being a great film. So Svetlina, I want to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 5, how many Bigfoot tracks would you give your film Cryptid Crisis?
That's
There's no wrong answer, by the
a
way.
difficult question. Can I give a range? It's a very small range, but it's still a range.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
I think I would give my film between a 3.5 to a 4 Bigfoot tracks.
Okay.
My only justification for that is like while I am aware like there are some technical aspects of the film that are maybe not the best. I feel like what I do best as a director is like kind of tell stories that really resonate with audiences.
Mhm.
And especially like when the film screened again at like the encore screening on Sunday at the Boomtown Film Festival, I had a lot of people come up to me and like tell me like how my film resonated with them and like how they were inspired by it. And I think that just like that's just one of my testaments of like what I'm able to do as a director. And I was very happy to, see that I was able to, do that for people. So
Okay.
Kendall, rate it. What do you give it?
Well, I'm giving it 4 out of 5 Bigfoot tracks. This is a no-brainer for me. I mean, it was fun. It had a great message. It was a mixture of comedy and drama. I thought it was a nice blend of the two. The characters were silly when they needed to be silly. They were serious when they needed to be serious. And I keep going back to that one scene that made me audibly laugh out loud. I mean, that hits me. I mean, that matters to me whenever I watch any short films or feature length movies. So yeah, I give it 4 out of 5. I thought it was excellent. Real great job.
thank you.
All right. Patrick, how about you?
Well, we seem to all be in agreement. I put my notes of 4 out of 5. So yeah, great film. I really enjoyed it. I think anybody that watches it will enjoy it thoroughly. Speaking of, how can people see this film? Is it online anywhere? Or do they have to go to a festival, or
I
how can
think
they watch it?
currently you will have to go to a festival.
Okay.
I'm currently like for people that I've met at festivals. If anybody that I've met at a festival is watching, I am currently working on a private screener link that I will be sending. But I think currently for a public release, we'll have to wait until after the film is completed. Or sorry, after the festival run is completed.
Okay.
So you'd have to go see it at a film festival. Which film festivals will it be screening at? I will post updates on
I know
the
one.
Cryptid Crisis Instagram. They'll be at Cryptid Crisis Film on Instagram. But yeah, so hopefully after the film festival season, we'll probably do like a maybe like a YouTube release in the spirit of the social media-ness
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, and be sure to let us know when you do release it, and we'll get we'll get it out there. We'll let everybody know that it's available. Because
Awesome.
I believe in this short, man. I love this. So,
Thank
yeah,
you.
we definitely want to get it out there for you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Let me ask you this. If you were able to give advice to someone who's been wanting to make a film, but they've never tried, but they want to, what's the best advice you can give them? Don't.
I would say like I feel like the best way to learn about filmmaking is by trial and error. Like this film is not my first film I've ever made. I made a lot of mistakes coming up to this film, and even in this film, I've made a lot of mistakes. But like really to improve as a filmmaker, you just need to try something. You need to see how, your current execution skills work. And then after that, you improve upon it, right? Like, I have a lot of like new directors come up to me and, or new writers, directors come up to me and they're like really scared to like make their first film. And I'm just like, you don't really need to be that scared, like, just make it. And then, you learn how to become a better filmmaker from there because like, who is your own worst critic? Yourself, right? So if you take your own work and you critique your own work, you can, figure out like what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and then you can like improve from there. So that is my advice.
Great. Yeah. Well, do you have anything that we haven't covered that you would like to say about your film?
I must think. Hold on. I do have a lot of production stories. Um, oh, if I guess I can go into like the casting process for the cryptids,
Sure.
if you all would be interested to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with the casting process, so for Zoe, the first contender was my mom. I did make her audition. And then I brought the audition to class because we had to bring our auditions to class. And my professor, Professor Lubomir Kotska, he was like, he watched the audition and was like, this is it. This is it right here. So I was like, all right, my professor has approved. All right, great. Moving on. So for Dale and for Jersey Devil, I used the breakdown services from Actors Access. So that was my first time kind of like doing that like casting in a way. And I feel like for both Dale and Jersey Devil, like in Jersey Devil played by Carol and Rafa, they both had when I first watched their auditions for the first time, they just both had like this wow factor that I was just like, this is the person for the part. I just like I knew because like a lot of the other like Jersey Devil auditions I got were very calm, very cool, very reserved. But with Carol Ann's audition, I was just like very like. I was very inspired by the way that she was like attacking that character like right from the get-go. So I was very impressed with her performance. For the other cryptids, I utilized the SCAD casting office. So like SCAD has its own casting office that's like student run, and you can go in like pitch your project. Well, you have to like sign a form to like I guess pitch your project, and they'll be like, okay, we can match you because it's like they can't be like, oh, we have 60-year-olds because none of the students are 60-year-olds, something like that. So I go in and I have a meeting scheduled, and they're like, okay, so we can help you cast the roles of Bigfoot, Chupacabra, and Mothman. And I'm like, perfect, great. And then they're like, okay, who, like, do you have any ideas on like who you're looking for? And they have like their wall of like headshots and stuff. And like going into it, like, so I had previously known Brennan, just kind of like, just know him and like some of my social circles. And I was just like, you know what, he'd be great to play Bigfoot. And so he's like the first person because they're like, who are you thinking of for Bigfoot? And I was like, he's like the first person that I recommended. I put down, I was like, I want to see him audition. And little did I know he was going to end up being the best option. Yeah. So similar process for the other two cryptids, like I think I had Niccolo who plays Mothman. I think he was also like one of my first options for Mothman. But I feel like the contender who like came out of the woodwork or just came out of nowhere was Eva. Like that was just like I had like a lot of people like not a lot of people auditioned because audition for Chupacabra because like when the auditions are sent out, they're like kind of sent out and then the students can choose whether or not they want to do it. But like Eva was like again like one of the auditions that I had where it was just like this is it for the role. Like you're coming in with the energy that I need for this film, and you're not like shy or you're not like afraid to take risk, and like that's exactly what I need for this film.
Very good. You nailed it with your casting. They were all fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So good job.
Thank you. It's a very long, like scrutinous process because like I watched them with my producer, and we were like, yes, no, yes, no. How are we feeling? We were on a very similar wavelength. So
it's amazing to me that you were able to make this film as your thesis project. To me, that's too much fun, as a thesis project. It seems like it would have been a lot more book work and studying and testing out and stuff to do a thesis. But I mean, if you had a choice to make a film for a thesis, that's the way to go. That would definitely be the best option, the most fun you could have.
you would think making a thesis film is not a lot of book work. It actually is. So my professor, Professor Lubomir Kotska, he really loves assigning work for directors that are like very introspective. So like one of our things that we have to submit along with our progress in our films is a director's book. My director's book is, I believe, 183 pages. And a lot of it is like the script, the synopsis. We had to do a breakdown of like each and every character and each and every scene, and the breakdown include like beats, emotional meaning, character arc. Like it's like 10 steps per scene that you got to break down, and you got to break down the visual structure, which is another 5 steps. And you have the character descriptions that are broken down it's like it's both a lot of writing and also a lot of documenting, which kind of like makes it come out to like 183 pages. I've seen people with their director's book be like over 200 pages, sometimes 500 pages, and I'm like, that's a lot. But like if you're really passionate about what you're creating and like what you're doing, you're gonna bound to end up writing a lot of stuff, because it's like you really want to be thorough with like what it is you're trying to capture and what it is that because you want your film to turn out well, you want your film to succeed. And so like honestly, a lot of prep work did assist with the success of the film.
That's a lot more work than I was thinking. That's I would rather just grab a camcorder and run out in the woods and film a movie.
You
Too
would
much
think.
work for me, so no thesis for me, just the movie. So Kendall, you have anything else to add, or?
No, I mean, I think that pretty much wrapped it up there.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Tsvetalina, for coming on and talking with us. We appreciate you giving us some insight into your film, and we appreciate you sharing your film with us.
Yeah.
It's really cool project. I thought it was awesome. And
Thank you all so much for
having.
Thank you all so much for having me. I'm so glad y'all enjoyed my film. Like that's all you ever want as a director, is for people to enjoy your film. Or at least all I want as a director is for people to enjoy my film. So I was very nervous for like, the first like film festival that I went to, but I'm very happy to see that.
I think everybody's going to enjoy this film. It's great.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And we'll definitely talk to you later when your film comes out, maybe, or, see how it's in, public release. So
yes, of course. Of course.
Thanks a lot. And we look forward to your future with the festival run. Hopefully you win a lot of awards.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another excellent episode of Filmsquatch with myself, Kendall Fontenot, and my good friend Patrick Bennett. We want to thank Tsvetalina Pourciau for being on our show this evening. And when this goes public, folks, I can't emphasize this enough. When it goes public, check it out. If you're at it's going to be at a film festival that's local to you, check it out. You won't be disappointed. This is a really fun project. I thought Tsvetalina did a great job on it.
Absolutely.
Now, Patrick, with that said, if I ever find myself in the the White Marsh Preserve, if myself or any of our listeners happen to find themselves out in the White Marsh Preserve near Savannah, Georgia, do you have any advice for us?
I just want to say, if you and your film crew out there shooting a college project for your thesis film, watch your bag. Bigfoot's out there.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Filmsquatch. If you like the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us. Make sure to like us on Facebook and join in on some of our interactive discussions. Remember, Bigfoot is out there. Watch your back.